So every year, a tradition that we do on the channel is we talk about the team that is first in the NHL at the Christmas break. Last year, it was actually the Vancouver Canucks, believe it or not. It ended up being the New York Rangers at the end of the season. But at this point, at the Christmas break in 2024-2025, it is the Winnipeg Jets who are the team that is first in the NHL. So the Jets this season have been absolutely awesome. They started off really good. They haven't really been as good as they've been since they obviously started back in October and through the middle part of November, but they're still playing well. They are 25-10-1 for 51 points. They are first in the Central Division, and as I mentioned, first in the NHL. Honestly remarkable. I didn't really think this team would be first in the NHL. I was going to be honest with you guys. I think me and even my friend Carter, who's a Jets fan on the podcast, said that we believe the Jets would still be in a playoff spot, still be in the playoffs, but we thought they would take a step backwards and not be first in the NHL, and we were completely proved wrong, and I'm sure Carter's not complaining about that whatsoever, but regardless, the Jets are first in the NHL, and really nothing you can change about that. Looking at some of the advanced stats, they have scored 133 goals, have allowed 89, which is a plus 44 difference, which is the best difference, the best goal differential in the entire NHL, which is actually remarkable. They are actually first in a lot of analytics when you look at the broad scheme of things, and even the advanced analytics as well. They're first in nearly every single column, which is really impressive. They are 12-3-1 at home, so it's been nearly impossible to beat the Winnipeg Jets at home. And they are 13-7-0 on the road, which the road record's a little not as good as their home, but still, it is still a solid record nonetheless. When you look in terms of special teams and goals scored per game, they are all incredible. They average a 3.66 goals for per game, which is ranked third in the NHL, so top three, and they allow the least amount of goals per game in the NHL amongst any team. They allow a 2.49 goals against on average, which is the best, and it's the best by, I think, a pretty big margin, actually, which is a little bit surprising. So, yeah, this team has been absolutely unbelievable. When you look in terms of the power play numbers, they have a 31.8 power play percentage, which is ranked first in the entire National Hockey League, and their penalty kill, which is, not like a top penalty kill in the league, but it's still solid, a 79.8, which is ranked 16th amongst all 32 NHL teams. So, besides the penalty kill, they are basically dominating every single metric that there is. I'm going to be honest. There's a few stats that they're, second or third or fourth, and of course there's some stats where they're not that great in, but still, like, when you look in terms of the broad stats and all of that, they are first in nearly every single category, which is very impressive for a team like the Winnipeg Jets, who I, again, personally didn't even really think was going to be, like, this good this coming season. I thought they would take a little bit of a step back, as I said, but they haven't. They've taken a step forward, arguably. So it has been an absolutely remarkable stretch of games here for the Winnipeg Jets, and it's been truly awesome to watch. When you look in terms of the players who have been scoring for this team, there are just guys who are scoring on, like, all cylinders. Who's leading the push, though, is Kyle Connor. Connor this season, 21 goals, 26 assists for 47 points. I mean, again, at the beginning of the season, Connor, recorded already some record-breaking numbers. He, has a goal in every single home opener for the Jets in the last, 6 seasons. He went up until, I think, game 20 of the season, or 21 or something like that. He went a really long time of scoring a point in every single game the Jets played, which is very hard to do. There's not a lot of players who could go 20 games played without not recording a point. It's pretty hard to do, and Kyle Connor did that. So it has been actually insane with how he has been this season, and he's been remarkable. Somebody else who's been remarkable too is Mark Scheifele, who is not only passing and getting a bunch of assists, he's got the same amount of goals. 21 goals, 21 assists for 42 points this season. most notably a hat trick against Toronto on their final game before the Christmas break. He's another guy who has been awesome this season as well. Again, like everybody on Winnipeg is rolling right now, and Scheifele is just one of them. But, Connor and Scheifele are really leading the charge for how good this team has been. And it's actually really fun to watch these two players play. They are rolling right now. The chemistry with them is just off the charts. Everything with this team has just been awesome, and Scheifele and Connor has been the biggest highlight of that for me personally. Next up then, Gabe Vilardi. We saw Vilardi not play a lot of games last year. He dealt with some injuries and things like that, which kept him out of the lineup for a little bit. But so far, he's played most of the games he's played and has 14 goals, 17 assists for 31 points this season. I feel like we finally found the consistency in Gabe Vilardi that we were lacking in Los Angeles. It feels like we have finally found that here with Vilardi, and I love it. I love how he's played. He's become one of my favorite players to watch with the Winnipeg Jets, to be honest with you. And I think that it can only go up from here for him. As well as that, too, Nikolai Ehlers, who was rumored to be on the move, and I think that's probably not going to happen. Maybe it does happen. Maybe just because the team's playing well. Maybe at the end of the season, if they suffer another disappointing playoff loss, Ehlers might be like, yeah, I want to go somewhere else and win. But right now, Ehlers has 10 goals, 17 assists for 27 points. But again, I want to say as well, they have spoken out vocally, the Winnipeg Jets and Scott Arniel have, about how they want to keep him around. And I think that it probably does end up happening. He probably will stay with the team, and I'm hopeful for it. I like Ehlers as well. He's been with them for a very long time. He's already a really good offensively powered player. He even this year, I feel like he's not really playing to the potential that we know he can be, and he's still playing pretty solid. So I think that's impressive and speaks a lot for how good he really is. As well as that too, Cole Perfetti, who I'm going to be honest, has been a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. I still think he's been good, but a little bit underwhelming. 7 goals, 16 assists for 23 points this year with the Jets as well. I like how he's played at points. He's been a little bit lackluster at points, though, this season as well, but that may be because he's young and because he's getting more ice time than he did in previous seasons with the Jets. But I still really like Perfetti, and I really like how he can play, and I still believe the potential is there for him to grow, 100%. As well as that, too, Adam Lowry, the captain, 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points. He is obviously, again, one of the better defensively touted players in the league, who's a forward. He has been awesome for the Jets this year, just playing the way we know Lowry can play. That's the biggest thing with him. You don't want him to go out and score a bunch of points. Obviously, if he goes out there and gets a 25-goal season, you'll be very satisfied with that. But we're not really expecting that from Lowry. We're expecting some consistently, defensive play as a forward and a guy who can piss other players off. He's one of those guys. He's that captain for a reason. And that's why I like Adam Lowry. He's one of my favorite captains in the league, to be honest with you. As well as that, too, Nino Niederreiter. Niederreiter has also been solid, too, as a depth scorer. Has actually 10 goals, 9 assists, 19 points. So he's been providing some secondary scoring for the team as well. Vladislav Namestnikov, 9 goals, 10 assists for 19 points with Winnipeg this year as well. Again, the secondary depth has been great. Appleton, like a fourth-line forward, 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points, has also looked remarkable this year as well. And then Alex Iafallo, who has 5 goals, 7 assists for 12 points with the Jets this year as well. So again, they have guys who are scoring at all levels. You have basically you have 8 different 20-point scorers, which is kind of unheard of when you look in terms of some teams. Again, I'm going to put an asterisk on that because Niederreiter and Namestnikov have 19, but they're basically a 20. So you have guys who are playing at a really high level here in Winnipeg on the forward core. And I have not even talked about the blue line yet. I haven't even talked about the guys on the blue line who have looked remarkable too. Starting off with Josh Morrissey. Morrissey, we know how he is, and my friend Carter calls him Josh Norrisy. Morrissey, 3 goals, 30 assists for 33 points this season with the Winnipeg Jets, is probably going to be one of those Norris contenders for sure. He's always been. I would love to see him get one, but unfortunately, he plays in the era of Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes and all that. He's kind of like the John Carlson of this era. like I would say. He's probably like the John Carlson of this era, which is unfortunate because that probably means he won't get a Vezina, but he will be a finalist here and there, but still has been a great player for the Jets down the stretch this year. Also, Neil Pionk, who has somehow woken up offensively. I talked about Neil Pionk in the offseason saying that if he has another pretty bad season, the Jets would let him go because he's in the last year of his deal. But Pionk this year's making a good case for him to stay. 5 goals, 21 assists for 26 points this season with the team as well. Nearly a 30-point scorer. There's only 4 other players who have that tally. So really impressive with how he's played this season. He's been a really big surprise for me for the Winnipeg Jets. Also, Colin Miller, 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points. And Dylan Samberg, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points as well for this Jets team too. So 2 good second, third pairing guys there on that blue line that I think are also pretty effective as well. And then you get into the goalie. Arguably the goalie, I'm not even saying goalies, but the goalie who I would say is just a Hart candidate, always a Vezina favorite. It's Connor Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck this season with Winnipeg has a 22-5-1 record with a 2.07 and a .927 save percentage. Again, the Jets are playing really well in front of him, but a big reason why the Winnipeg Jets are even like on this absolute tear they've been on is Connor Hellebuyck. And you guys cannot deny that whatsoever. It has been almost, I would say it's 80% Hellebuyck with what they've done, maybe even more than that, like 85, I'm going to be honest. But yeah, he has been phenomenal this year for the Jets, like always. And he's on pace for a second Vezina. And I think, honestly, if he gets a second Vezina, he's an automatic first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm going to be dead honest with you guys. Also, the backup for the Winnipeg Jets is Eric Comrie, a longtime Jets backup. 3.5-0, a 3.05, and a .902. Again, his numbers aren't as good as the starter, but obviously that's usually how it goes with the backup again. All right, well, one thing that I was also wondering too, and I probably should throw this in here, is that I wonder if we get down into maybe the second half of the year, we get into February, and the Jets, let's say, they get 5 more wins in January and, post the Four Nations break, and they're already, very comfortably in a playoff spot. I would wonder if, this season they take an approach of not starting Hellebuyck, that much. Giving Comrie a lot of the net. I wonder if they would think about going out and doing that, or maybe they would go out and get another competent backup goalie, because I like Comrie, but maybe he's not that guy. If there's a backup out there that you could get and he could do wonders for you, I think maybe Winnipeg should pull the trigger on that. And I think if you could get somebody who could I'm not saying you should sit Hellebuyck for the rest of the season, but maybe take the load off of him a little bit. Again, that might be hard for you to tell him that and be like, hey, Hellebuyck, we need you to play a little bit less. I don't think that Hellebuyck's going to be like, yeah, no, I want to play. Come on. But again, I think that the Jets might consider doing that. Not saying that that could happen, but they should at least consider it a little bit. But yeah, the Winnipeg Jets looked unbelievable at the Christmas break. Again, tomorrow is the first batch of games, so this could completely change. Again, it's not like they're first by a massive margin. There are teams that are behind them, like the Capitals and the Devils and the Golden Knights, who are all really pursuing them hard. I actually thought that I was going to make a Capitals video, but then the Jets started winning again. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on the Winnipeg Jets this season. They've looked unbelievable. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Did I miss anyone? Again, I did go through a lot of the roster, but there are some players that I did miss. So let me know your thoughts on them in the comment section down below. And thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like down below and subscribe if you really liked it as well. I would appreciate that too. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.